There's that funky slide guitar music that comes on every Monday through Friday live at 5 on the Evil Teen Network, Rumble X, YouTube. Check us out, subscribe, type in iNewsWire or Roy Bleckert on there, and you will see my nice, shining, smiling face. Of course, we'll join the Mighty Met KMT as we usually do at the bottom of the hour every Monday through Fridays. You saw our supermarket. We'll get to that clip in a second. Employee lights a supermarket on fire. How'd you like to be going down the aisle and all of a sudden a fire breaks out? Newsom's ball-busting pose. What a wild scene on that. How to win the governor's race. We'll get to that in a second. Tom Homan, our border czar, 100 American badass, puts a heckler down big time at the Turning Point USA meeting down in El Paso, Texas. We'll give you the clip on that. Musk, how the West survives or fails. Your pick. Hemocops tell you where your dollars go. That F-16 that crashed up in China Lake was a Thunderbird training mission. So we will see if they will cancel any flights, or I'm sure they got some extra planes of that, but we'll get a report on what happened. That what does the word retard mean? Mind you, I've never stopped using that word, even though the pressure was on a lot of people of not to do it. But as they say, how'd you like to be going down the supermarket aisle, all of a sudden a fire breaks out, and you find out an employee did it. This is from Channel 5. You're going to see how it breaks out on the fire. You're seeing there it is torching off on that. And it's amazing. I mean, he must have been one, he or she must have been one, a pissed off employee. Look at the people running. That one guy walks right by it like isn't there. You'll see one of the employees, good thing they did here, he comes in with a good-sized fire extinguisher, putting the fire out before it became a 3-alarm or 6-alarm blaze. But that would definitely be freaky. This guy, though, that's coming up, he really cracks me up. He runs right by it, and there you see more of the flames and stuff going on. Wild scene going on there at your friendly supermarket. A lot of the things that we see going on, and we've run the deal on, we have been touting the first part of the strategy on how the center-right freedom and liberty types can win the California governor's race in 2026. The deck chairs are setting up. If we use a strategy of California Senate District number 2, the rats used in 23, they captured a plus 20 Republican seat by lining up 2 Democrats, got 20% each, or approximately, held all the other 6 Republicans to less than that. Alvarado Gil is now sitting in a seat that should be occupied by a Republican in the California State Senate. They showed us how to do it. The deck chairs are lining up perfectly, and we went through the strategy. As it stands now, especially it's set up to do it, Steve Hilton and Chad Bianco split the 40%, rock solid. And if we gain more, that's fine. I mean, we know we got 40% of the vote. We split that evenly between Steve Hilton and Chad Bianco, and then hold the rest of the 7 dwarfs, or however many of them are in there, of the Democratic Party. We can win. We can win because we got a top 2. After the June primary, the top 2 move into November, just like it was in Senate District 4 in 2022. So let's not be stupid. Let's actually come up with a strategy. That's the first part of the strategy. Second part of the strategy, as they say, is messaging. He who controls the narrative wins. Royism 101. So one of my basic themes or whatever when I'm talking about campaign strategy or to folks or to candidates or whoever. You control the narrative, you win. Prop 50 was the biggest example. Newsom controlled the narrative. They started out losing this 2-1, wound up winning it almost 2-1. Not on the merits of the bill. Trump's evil. He's going to, the whole world's going to come to an end. On point, they rolled it. They said that's the only thing that worked. Tie it to Trump. You're stopping Trump. And they pass it 2-1. Republicans do not have a message. Or it's just shotgun scattered out there. They don't have a message that connects. You got to have a message that connects. You can be all the policy 101 wonks, think tanks, whatever you want to go on all this stuff, put it all, and you'd be 111% right if it doesn't resonate with Javier and Jane, lunch pill toting Californians. You're going nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. And that's where the Democrats, for at least since the 2000s, have been shellacking, beating the living crap out of Republicans on. Center-right, freedom, liberty types, however you want to say it. And there's all different factions, MAGA. We go after these same, just like Prop 50. Kevin McCarthy and Jessica Milan Patterson, failed politicians, failed political operatives. And we put them in charge of that. Because did you hear any counter? Did you hear any counter on 50? No, you had Arnold out there saying, "Oh, we passed this," and people didn't hear that. They went. If you just said, if you pass Prop 50, you're gonna get that lying sick sack of ish, Gavin Newsom. Boom. Republicans talked policy wonk stuff. Democrats went for the jugular. Didn't care if it was true or not, tied it to Trump. Trump had absolutely nothing to do with the Texas deal or any of the narrative they made up. We'll get to the ball-busting pose and that and a little bit more of the strategy here in a sec. But this is what you got to have to win. And Republicans far too often do not either have the smarts or guts or anything. We have no Donald Trumps. We have no Tom Homans amongst our midst. And if we finally start getting our ish together, maybe, possibly, we might have a chance. That chance is very fleeting. And if we don't take advantage at this time, and this moment in history to turn the tables, and not only that, get our ish together. Quit trying to run 1950s or 60s styles campaign or California or America and think that's going to work. It's not. bigger population, a lot different demographics, the whole enchilada. Different goals, different times. That's what we're up against. And a lot of our politicos on the center-right side have not figured this out. Or submissive or killing us. Let's put it that way. Let's get down the Dishbankoki stuff. Selling us down the river, however it is, but it's got to stop. If we're going to, unless, as Musk said, and we'll get his comments here in a bit, how Western civilization survives or fails. And that's going to be a big enchilada quote out of all this stuff. Lee Zeldin put up a post. He's the EPA head. You know, Grinnell came out here, Trump came out here right after the Palisades Altadena fires. And Karen Bass Trump was saying, why don't you get these people should have their permits as in yesterday. It shouldn't take them more than a week to get permits to rebuild. Still, no one, it's almost a year later, no one, I don't even think anybody started construction in the Palisades. At least in Altadena, they got the first one built. First certificate of occupancy for a home in Altadena, less than a year. Palisades is still burnt to the ground. Malibu, parts of it still burnt to the ground. It's ridiculous. This is what Lee Zeldin put out. We got all our stuff done. We got it cleaned up. You know, the environmental part. And we're done. We had it done within 60 days. And here we are. LA, California, Gavin Newsom, Buffoon Bass. How's this? There ain't even started hardly construction. We should be running commercials every day bashing Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass. Relentlessly carpet bombing them like Newsom did and the Democrats did in Prop 50 on Trump. Oh no, we make a social media post or an X post or post on IG or the Evil Epi Network or something. We think we're doing something. We chatter amongst ourselves. We're not highlighting the idiocracy. I mean, Lee Zeldin is, but nobody else. We're not pushing that out. Posting this on, the part of it is great. Posting it on X and like this. No, you should have a picture of Gavin Newsom in a prison uniform or in handcuffs with Trump leading him off or some into jail. If I was running the Bianco campaign, I'd have Bianco pushing him off to jail saying, hey, along with a lot of other things. But this is just plain criminal, among all the other things. Like the deal with what is the deal with these clowns? His former chief of staff, Dana the Hammer Williamson, said, Gavin Newsom was a target of an FBI investigation under the Joe Biden administration. Where in the hell is the carpet bombing? TV, radio, social media, on and on and on. You should not. You should be like the Prop 50 ads. You should not be able to get away from it. as they say, the strategy sucks. How come nothing like this? It should be Halle Berry criticizes California Governor Gavin Newsom for devaluing women by vetoing the menopause bill. Again, that should be 1,000% on target. They're blasted. There, all you prissy chicks with your degrees and your $1,500 dresses and makeups and hairdos and everything. There's one of yours saying, hey, he's a prick. Get down and dirty and fight. No kneeling, no capitulating, no backing down, no not using the word retard. We'll get to that in a sec. None of it. These guys are on the center right are so chicken. Now, not this congressional District 4, but it's pretty close, I think, to the Senate District 4. U.S. Capitol Police. U.S. Capitol Police member of Eric Jones' campaign investigated for surveilling Mike Thompson of Napa County. So Mike Thompson is the one who's in that with the gerrymandering redistricting. Democrats are not playing nice, or Marcus Queenberry's rule. They're out there allegedly or getting carted off by cops for surveilling his home, stalking, or whatever the hell's going on. Absolutely bonkers update. 3 GOP have filed for each raised approximately $7,000 from Rishi, whatever, goofball, Santa Monica Democrats. Of course they want to split the vote. They're collecting money to fund the other side to split the vote. Democrats in California. Because they understand one thing. They understand the fundamental rule of politics. First, you must win. And they don't care if they win legitimately by hook or crook, fixed elections, however, surveilling your, intimidating, it doesn't matter to them. They understand winning. And they don't care if they lie. Look at Gavin Newsom. Oh, Donald Trump wants to ensure Americans pay more at the pump. Who the hell is he? He thinks, he knows. No, he doesn't think. He knows the vast majority of Californians are retarded and stupid. Because they believe it. They don't believe the truth. He's actually asking for less money from the federal government for the Pacific Palisades. Initially asked for $40 billion, now it's down to $35. We have the highest freaking gas prices in the entire nation by 50% over the average. We're paying well over $4.50 a gallon average right now in California when the national average is less than $3. Does Gavin Newsom give a flippin' rip? No. Will he lie and look you in the face and tell you that? No, Trump's rolling back fuel economy standards. We're all going to die of diesel smoke. Because the rats know how to win. And they don't care. They will shove it right in your face. We should be beating the living hell out of them over this. If you're a gig worker, residents confused after getting letters from the city of LA they owe business taxes. Hammer the living hell out of them over this. Yeah, they're getting 1099 forms. If you got to get a 1099, like you're a gig worker or whatever, LA City's saying, oh, you owe a business tax. We're not beating the living crap out of these guys. That affects everyday workers. Tax on tips. It's stunning the stupidity we practice here in California. We don't pay attention. We don't resonate with the electorate. They want prices to come down. They don't want their kids in danger, themselves in danger.
Oh, 1 minute, Roy.
They want people deported. They want their jobs back. Hammer that consistently. And point out who's doing it, from Tampon Timmy to Gulag Gavin to the Kamala who did it before, and Biden and everybody else. Omar Ilan and the whole thing going on up there.
30 seconds.
Crap out of him. As Sean said, we'll be joining the Mighty Met KMET 1490 AM. We'll pick up on some of the other local stories, like it was a Thunderbird F-16 that crashed up there in China Lake the other day.
Here we go, 10 seconds.
We'll get into more.
Support America. PatriotSwitch.com.
IE Newswire Daily is on the air.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
There's that funky slide guitar music that comes on every Monday through Friday, live at 5:30 on the Mighty Met 1490 AM, broadcasting all over the Inland Empire and the aforementioned AM band. Join our vast video audience in the Evil IP Network, Rumble, X, YouTube. Check us out, subscribe, all that good stuff. How'd you like to be in the supermarket? Employee lights the supermarket on fire. Fortunately, there's the one dude that walked by there that was just like, oh, wow, there's a fire going on, and he runs off. Fortunately, they had a good-sized fire extinguisher and were able to put it out. But imagine how pissed off you are as an employee. You light the supermarket shelves on fire, and the people are freaking out on that. Didn't look like nobody was hurt, and they got the fire out real quick on that. We went through more of how to get the messaging to win the California and maybe even more state races and local races in California. Bottom line, the candidates, the electorate, us, we got to be tougher. We got to be meaner. We got to be leaner. We got to go after the rats just like they go after us. Because the rats know one thing. They know winning. They will sit there. They will do whatever it takes. Legally, illegally, by hook or crook. And if you're going to beat them, you better develop that attitude and that strategy, or they will crush you like you stepping on a cockroach. We got to clean out the stupidity, the grifters, and the idiotic artists on the center right that have been screwing us for a long time. Bottom line. No excuses. And this is how you do it. You do not back up from any of these clowns for any reason. This one, White House border czar Tom Homan, the great Tom Homan, erupts at a heckler who calls him a racist during a Turning Point USA speech down in El Paso, Texas. This is how you counter the stupidity, the evil, the lying, the BS. Don't let them shame you by shouting racist, or you can't say the word retard, or you didn't all this stuff to try to back you up. Here's the clip, get to it, of Tom Homan and here, hopefully we go.
Every night I go to bed, I pray for the safety and security of every border patrol ICE agent, and I pray for everybody that we're looking for. I don't want anybody hurt. I don't want anybody to die. That includes officers, and that includes aliens. And that's a stone cold fact. Call me what you want. I don't care.
See, right? Traitor. I think there was a racist in there. Traitor was louder. They have no conscience. Tom Homan, who's trying to keep America secure, doing what the people elected Trump and him to do, and he's a traitor. Here's the great Tom Homan's response.
Sir, look, I want to take questions. I'll take questions in a little bit, but why don't you grow a backbone, put a Kevlar vest and a gun on your hip and go secure this border.
Listen to the response. Listen to the response. First, his little crew over there, traitor, and they're all, yeah. Tom Homan didn't cut no slack. So why don't you get your skinny little butt down on the border and start defending the United States of America instead of running all this illegals in here, destroying our way of life. Because criminals, crooks, and people that do things illegally will eventually take you down. I don't care how nice you think people are or what their intentions were. That's exactly what's going to happen. And we're allowing this stuff each and every day. And it's about time we got our ish together and did not do it. Just quit being exactly stupid. Elon Musk, without freedom of speech, the West will fail.
I acquired X in order to preserve freedom of speech in America, the First Amendment. And I'm going to stick to that. And if that means making less money, so be it. I acquired X in order to preserve freedom of speech in America, the First Amendment. And I'm going to stick to that. And if that means making less money, so be it.
That's it in a nutshell. If you make less money, some things are fundamental. You can have all the money in the world if you're locked in solitary confinement and they shove a bowl of gruel and a half a glass of water into you a day. It doesn't matter that you might have $1 trillion. If you don't have freedom, as the shirt said, on the last breath Charlie Kirk took, was on his body, you're done. You're a slave. You're subservient to someone else. Your labor en masse and your hard work is going to someone else by force. And that's what we're suffering from. And it's just like with here in California. If we don't start talking it as it is and backing up these lying sacks of ish, we are beyond, as they say, doomed. Again, the Gavin Newsom phenomena, as they say, is stunning. It's stunning that a vast majority of people, and they're trying to, you could see, the rats are putting all their eggs in basket right now in 2028 on Gavin Newsom for president of the United States. You want California-ized for the other 49 states? This was a good one. Internet goes nuts over Gavin Newsom's odd testicle-crushing sitting pose, as it says in the, oh man, in the New York Post. This guy is something else. So this is part of what they're, see if this is the one. Part of what they're talking about is one of these, I think this is a clip, let's see if it is.
I believe this in my core of my heart.
Yes.
You will not have a free and fair.
So look at that. Have you ever seen, well, let me get my, Have you ever seen a dude? Have you ever seen a dude actually sit with his legs that crossed? And in that way, like the internet, the people are going like, what? WTF? Not only was he pulling the BS about, oh, Trump's going to not have the vote and we're going to lose our democracy, the same, oh, yeah. But that's absolutely weird. Never trust a guy. Never trust a guy. I can guarantee you that's sitting like that.
Election as we know them today in the United States of America if Speaker Jeffries is not sworn in a year plus from now. I really believe that. Sure, there'll be elections. Competitive authoritarians love elections. Putin, I think, got 87.3%. The runner-up was 4.3. That's what I mean.
From the guy who's been fixing elections since 2004 when he was mayor of San Francisco. The hubris of this dude is beyond anything. You know, I thought Bill Clinton and Barack Obama and George W. Bush were some of the biggest, hey, we'll tell you, weapons of mass destruction, I never had sex with that woman, you know, type of that, you know, Barack Obama, you know, would have passed, like Nancy Pelosi and that, you know, you got to pass the Obamacare, pass it, and then we'll tell you what's in it. This guy may be the king of them all.
I mean by competitive authoritarianism. Ask folks in Hungary and Orban what's going on in Turkey. That's the model for Trump. I don't think that. I know that on the basis of a lot of evidence. In fact, I saw, in fact, examples of that the day of our election, just a few weeks ago, where Donald Trump set out BORTAC teams, Border Patrol tactical units to Dodger Stadium to chill free expression.
Shut up. Shut up. That's been debunked 9,432,000 times. But if you repeat a lie long enough, it becomes a truth. And as Goebbels, Hitler's main guy, said, what's even more dangerous is you repeat the lie long enough, you believe it yourself. This guy, and anybody wants to prove me wrong. This guy is following the Hitler-Goebbels strategy to a T. He even believes what he's saying. I even think that now. I think he actually believes this stuff. He says it so much. He really thinks it's the truth. And that's what makes this cat completely dangerous. On top of that, look at this. I don't know what this guy is on, but it's got to be some pretty high performance stuff.
Right now,
I feel it's interesting. I've been on a journey like most people, feeling great, feeling stressed, feeling doubtful. The last 2 days, I don't know what it is. I think it's maybe the dust settling after Madison Square Garden. Seeing how that went, kind of a roller coaster. But something's happened in the last few days, and I'm telling you that Des Moines Register.
How in the heck? Who comes up with you got to be on something. Look at the look on his face. You got to be, there is no way. You've got to be on something. No rational, normal human being has those type of facial jerky hand gestures being normal or in a normal, not in some sort of induced state. I don't think it's possible.
I mean, I don't know. I don't expect Iowa necessarily going in the blue column, but it says something to me that is of outsized importance potentially in terms of the outcome of this race. So I'm feeling honestly much better than I was even 24 hours ago. The last few days.
What do you think it's saying?
I think the biggest challenge for if I was Trump, the reason I wouldn't want to be Trump right now is since Dobbs, we've outperformed in every election significantly. And I'm talking about Colorado Springs, Jacksonville, Florida, special elections, not just the 20.
I was, look at even the wide-old eyes. Spazzing out. The hand gestures were crazy enough up to this point. The spastic way he's doing it now. You know, I'm even starting to think, as bad as Kamala Harris would have been as president in 24, Gavin Newsom could be far, far worse. As chilling as that thought might be, Ricardo Lara, insurance commissioner, and his fraud, Cowfart Lara, oh, I'm gay, so you can't touch me. Here's the latest from ABC 7 up in San Fran, and the great Stephanie Sierra, who's been on top of this like nobody's business. Here we go.
Thousands of public records detailing more than 100 trips Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara has taken within the U.S. and internationally, including one last year to Cape Town, South Africa. After months of reporting, we have clarifications and new information to report tonight.
California's insurance market is one of the largest in the world, which is why travel is common for the state's current and past insurance commissioners. Prior reporting referenced the use of taxpayer funds for California Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara's travel. After further communications with Commissioner Lara's office and review of additional documents, we want to clarify that funding for Lara's travel comes from the California Department of Insurance, or CDI, which is a special revenue fund agency primarily supported by fees and assessments on the insurance industry rather than the proceeds from taxes.
The fees and that come from you, just like the taxes do. You know, every time you pay your insurance, car insurance, homeowners insurance, if you can get it, though they didn't come from taxes, well, they came from the fees that the insurance company that charged you that you had to pay. It should be confirmed as a tax. It is a tax, but they tell you it's not. They tell you a tax is not a tax. So they get away with this crap.
That money is deposited into the state insurance fund, which is subject to an annual appropriation by the legislature. CDI says travel.
So you pay on your insurance premium. A portion of it goes into the fund that Cowfart Lara can go travel to the Tutti Frutti conference or whatever, nothing to do with insurance, on the French Riviera, New York City, Brazil, on your dime. But no, it was not a tax money. Well, really it was. You just aren't calling it that. This stuff is flat beyond criminal.
For events organized by the National Association of Insurance Commissioners, or NAIC, is paid for by that group. The Department of Insurance pays a $150,000 annual assessment to NAIC from its operating budget. Commissioner Latta has taken personal days on certain trips, and the department says Latta pays for those travel expenses himself. CDI told 7 on Your Side it does not have records or receipts of Commissioner Latta's personal spending on the 2024 trip to South Africa because, like other agencies, it doesn't keep or ask for records of employees' spending on their own time. ABC 7 obtained several records showing safari-related security expenses in Cape Town in early December last year. However, the department states there is no record that Commissioner Latta's personal safari expense was paid for by the department. Only.
Can you believe this double talk? And they've been doing this for a year. Good thing Stephanie Sierra has been on this for over a year. It's just like with the Capitol building, the $1 billion they're spending on their new office buildings. After we built one, three years after, they've only occupied the new one for 3 years. No, that's junk. We got to get a new one. That's just to avoid talking to you or Ashley Zavalia or Stephanie Sierra or anyone else. Like this, oh, all the records just magically disappeared. Really? As they say, sometimes we think this stuff will never stop. Incredible, to say the least. Where your dollar goes, well, the HEMA cops are arresting thieving criminals. Or suspected thieving criminals. So great job. Hemet Police Department. They've really been working the retail theft thing to the max. And that's something that we definitely by any account need to get more of our law enforcement agencies to go after these guys. It was a Thunderbird aircraft F-16 that crashed, the one we brought you yesterday, up there at China Lake, out there in the Death Valley area of California. And I want to say this, you know, we ran this on iNewsWire where Trump's hand-painting retard on tampon Timmy Walls. The word retard is not meant for people with handicaps. It's meant for non-handicapped people who are stupid. If you don't understand this, you're a retard. And no truer words have ever been spoken. And that's why I refuse not to use the word in the context of people being stupid. Now, somebody that's actually has a mental or incapacity, then that's not cool to be calling them a retard. But when a normal person like Gavin Newsom does retarded things, or tampon Timmy Walls, or whomever, justifiably, freedom of speech demands, and to keep your God-given or natural rights, it demands that you call them retards. And if that's what it takes to get the people's attention, then you should be compelled. You have an obligation to do it. And don't let them shout you down. Be like Tom Homan. Tell them, stick it right up your ass. We're not playing the stupid game, the retard game anymore. I'm glad more people are coming along. It's about time. That'll do it for this week. It's mandatory. Be back here in 71 Hours Wide, your best darn show in the whole wide world. Have a great weekend. Till then, see ya.
The proceeding was a paid.
All right, Roy, I will talk to you Monday.
You got it.
Have a good weekend.
You got it.